The presidential $1 coin program is part of an act of Congress, Pub.L. 109 Euro 145, 119 Stat 2664, enacted December 22, 2005, which directs the United States Mint to produce $1 coins with engravings of relief portraits of U.S. presidents on the obverse. From 2007 to 2011, presidential $1 coins were minted for circulation in large numbers, resulting in a large stockpile of unused $1 coins. Since 2012, new presidential coins have been minted only for collectors. Legislative history: Senate Bill 1047 was introduced on May 17, 2005, by Senator John E. Sununu with over 70 co-sponsors. It was reported favorably out of the U.S. Senate Committee on Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs without amendment on July 29, 2005. The Senate passed it with a technical amendment, by unanimous consent on November 18, 2005. The House of Representatives passed it on December 13, 2005. The engrossed bill was presented to President George W. Bush on December 15, 2005, and he signed it into law on December 22, 2005. Program details: the program began on January 1, 2007, and is similar to the 50-state quotas program in that it will not end until every eligible subject is honored. The program is to issue coins featuring each of 4 presidents per year on the obverse, issuing one for 3 months before moving on to the next president in chronological order by term in office. The U.S. Mint calls it the Presidential $1 Coin Program. The reverse of the coins bears the Statue of Liberty, the inscription $1, and the inscription United States of America. Inscribed along the edge of the coin is the year of minting or issuance of the coin, the mint mark, 13 stars, and also the legends E pluribus unum. The edge lettering looks like this: AAAAAAAAAA 2009 DAA and E pluribus UNUM. Before 2009, In God We Trust was a part of the edge lettering. The legend Liberty is absent from the coin altogether, since the decision was made that the image of the Statue of Liberty on the reverse of the coin was sufficient to convey the message of liberty. The text of the Act does not specify the color of the coins, but per the U.S. Mint the specifications will be identical to those used for the current golden dollar. The George Washington $1 coin was first available to the public on February 15, 2007, in honor of President's Day, which was observed on February 19. This marks the first time since the St. Gordon's Double Eagle that the United States has issued a coin with edge lettering for circulation. Edge-lettered coins date back to the 1790s. The process was started to discourage the shaving of gold coin edges, a practice which was used to cheat payees. In December 2007, Congress passed H.R. 2764, moving In God We Trust to either the obverse or reverse of the coins. This is the same bill that created a program that will include quarters for Washington, D.C., Puerto Rico, Northern Mariana Islands, Guam, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and American Samoa. The act had been introduced because of the failure of the Sacagawea $1 coin to gain widespread circulation in the United States. The act sympathized with the need of the nation's private sector for a $1 coin, and expected that the appeal of changing the design would increase the public demand for new coins. The program is also intended to help educate the public about the nation's presidents and their history. Should the coins not catch on with the general public, the Mint is hoping that collectors will be as interested in the dollars as they were with the state quarters, which generated about $4.6 billion in seigniorage between January 1999 and April 2005, according to a report by the Congressional Budget Office. Unlike the state quarter program and the Westward Journey nickel series, which suspended the issuance of the current design during those programs, the Act directed the Mint to continue to issue Sacagawea dollar coins during the presidential series. The law states that at least 1 in 3 issued dollars must be a Sacagawea dollar. Furthermore, the Sacagawea design is required to continue after the presidential coin program ends. These requirements were added at the behest of the North Dakota congressional delegation to ensure that Sacagawea, whom North Dakotans consider to be one of their own, ultimately remains on the dollar coin. However, Federal Reserve officials indicate to Congress that if the presidential $1 coin program does not stimulate substantial transactional demand for dollar coins, the requirement that the mint nonetheless produce Sacagawea dollars would result in costs to the taxpayer without any offsetting benefits. In that event, the Federal Reserve indicated that it would strongly recommend that Congress reassess the one-third requirement. The one-third requirement was later changed to one-fifth by the Native American $1 Coin Act, passed on September 20, 2007, and Sacagawea dollars were only 0.8% of the total dollar coins produced through November 2007. Previous versions of the Act called for removing from circulation dollar coins issued before the Sacagawea dollar, most notably the Susan B. Anthony dollar, but the version of the Act which became law merely directs the Secretary of the Treasury to study the matter and report back to Congress. The Act does require federal government agencies, businesses operating on federal property, and federally funded transit systems to accept and dispense dollar coins by January 2008, and to post signs indicating that they do so. The program's end equals, the Act specifies that for a president to be honored, the former president must have been deceased for at least 2 years before issue. It will take about 10 years from the start to honor all 39 eligible presidents. The series will end in 2016, after honoring Ronald Reagan, since neither Ronald Reagan's immediate predecessor, Jimmy Carter, nor any of Reagan's successors are eligible, all of whom were still living on August 14, 2015. On February 12, 2015, the U.S. Mint confirmed that President and Mrs. Reagan will be getting coins in 2016 in a letter to Representative William P. Huizenga. The Mint also stated the work had started on designs for the Reagan coins. Once the program has terminated, producing coins for those presidents not yet honored would require another act of Congress. Minting errors On March 8, 2007, the United States Mint announced, on February 15, 2007, that an unknown number of George Washington presidential $1 coins were released into circulation without their edge inscriptions. Ron Guth, of the Professional Coin Grading Service, estimated at least 50,000 coins were released without the edge inscriptions. The first such coin discovered was sold on eBay for $600, while later coins were selling for $40 $60, as of late March 2007. Because one of the inscriptions missing from the coins is the motto "In God We Trust," some articles on the subject have referred to them as godless dollars. Fake godless dollars have been produced with the edge lettering filed off. Also, John Adams presidential dollars have been discovered with plain edges. They are fewer in quantity than George Washington plain edge dollars, making them rarer, thus more expensive. A more frequently encountered edge lettering error for the John Adams dollar is a coin with doubled edge lettering. This error occurs when a coin passes through the edge lettering machine twice. Most examples of the doubled edge letter John Adams dollar are from the Philadelphia Mint. They are seen in two varieties, one, with both edge lettering inscriptions reading in the same direction, called overlapped, and two, with the two inscriptions running in opposite directions that is, inverted or upside down relative to one another called inverted. In early March 2007, a Colorado couple found a dollar coin that was not stamped on either side, missing the portrait of George Washington and the Statue of Liberty. Some of the coins have the words on the rim struck upside down. These are not minting errors, but rather a variation created by the minting process. Such upside-down coins have been sold on auction websites for greater than their face value, though they represent roughly 50% of the minted population. Stockpile and suspension of production . By 2011, 1.4 billion uncirculated $1 coins were stockpiled, which, if stacked flat, could reach from Los Angeles to Chicago. By 2016, this number might have reached 2 billion. Representative Jackie Speier of California circulated a Dear Colleague letter recommending that the U.S. not produce any dollar coins. She was planning to introduce legislation calling for the immediate halting of all dollar coin programs. The United States Government Accountability Office has stated that discontinuing the dollar bill in favor of the dollar coin would save the U.S. government about $5.5 billion over 30 years. On December 13, 2011, Vice President Joe Biden and Treasury Secretary Timothy Geithner announced that the minting of presidential $1 coins for circulation would be suspended. Future entries in the program, beginning with that of Chester A. Arthur, would be issued in reduced quantities, only for collectors. Coin details: dollar coins were issued bearing the likenesses of presidents, as follows. €1. The Act specifies that a president must have been deceased for no fewer than 2 years to be honored in the series. These presidents are currently living and therefore do not qualify. First Spouse Program. The United States is honoring the spouses of each of the presidents honored by the Presidential $1 Coin Act by issuing half-ounce $10 gold coins featuring their images, in the order they served as first spouse, beginning in 2007. To date, all first spouses have been women, but the law uses the term first spouse. The obverse of these coins will feature portraits of the national unregistered trademark S first spouses, their names, the dates and order of their terms as first spouse, as well as the year of minting or issuance, and the words "In God We Trust," and "Liberty." The United States Mint will mint and issue first spouse gold coins on the same schedule as the presidential $1 coins issued honoring the presidents. Each coin will have a unique reverse design featuring an image emblematic of that spouse unregistered trademark S life and work, as well as the words "The United States of America, e pluribus unum, $10, 1/2 ounce, and .9999 fine gold." When a president served without a first spouse, as Thomas Jefferson did, a gold coin will be issued bearing an obverse image emblematic of liberty as depicted on a circulating coin of that era, and bearing a reverse image emblematic of themes of that president. One exception will be the coin depicting suffragist Alice Paul representing the era of the Chester A. Arthur presidency, as Arthur was a widower. The Act, as written, explicitly states that the first spouse coins will be released at the same time as their respective $1 presidential coins. Because the Act links a first spouse's eligibility for a coin to that of the presidential spouse, it means that a living first spouse may appear on a coin. Currently, one living First Lady, Nancy Reagan, is eligible. The United States Mint launched these coins officially at 12 p.m. EDT on June 19, 2007. They provided two versions of the coin, a proof version for $429.95 and an uncirculated version for $410.95. The United States Mint will also produce and make available to the public bronze medal duplicates of the first spouse gold coins which are not legal tender. In February 2009, Coin World reported that some 2007 Abigail Adams medals were struck using the reverse from the 2008 Louisa Adams medal. These pieces, called mules, were contained within the 2007 First Spouse medal set. A full listing of the coins is, due to volatility in the gold market, the U.S. Mint lowered the price to $549.95 on November 12, 2008 to more accurately reflect the current spot price of gold. This however constantly changes as the price of gold changes. The Mint uses this pricing range table to adjust pricing of gold coin. http Demantware Edge Site Neaton Sites USM Site Default Images 2015 Pricing Grid Gold Platinum Products PDF Chester A. Arthur's wife died before he succeeded to the presidency. Since there was no First Lady during his presidency, the Act explicitly states that Alice Paul, who was born during his term, will appear on this coin. Since Paul was never First Lady, the coin will not have a served date. For this spouse to be honored, the respective president must qualify for a coin. Other provisions: the Act also has two other provisions. 4. Issuance of a $50 bullion coin reproducing the 1913 Buffalo nickel designed by James Earl Fraser. See American Buffalo, redesign of the reverse of the Lincoln Cent in 2009 to show 4 different scenes from Abraham Lincoln's life in honor of the bicentennial of his birth. These 4 scenes include his birth and early childhood in Kentucky, his formative years in Indiana, his professional life in Illinois, His presidency in Washington, D.C. In 2009, numismatic cents which have the metallic copper content of cents minted in 1909 were issued for collectors. After 2009, another redesigned reverse for the Lincoln cent is being minted. This shall bear an image emblematic of President Lincoln's preservation of the United States of America as a single and united country, and will replace the Lincoln Memorial reverse in use from 1959 to 2008. See also, List of United States Presidents by currency appearances, America the Beautiful Quarters, 50 State Quarters, District of Columbia and United States Territories Quarter Program, Westward Journey Nickel Series. References. External links, U.S. Mint Presidential $1 coin AC page, U.S. Mint First Spouse Program page, images of the presidential $1 coins, complete text of the act at Wikisource, Senate Bill 1047 at thomas.block.gov. Full text at from the United States Government Printing Office, report by the Congressional Budget Office on the cost of H.R. 902, which includes information on seigniorage for the state quarter program. April 12, 2005, Anderson, Gordon T. Congress tries again for a dollar coin. CNN Money. April 28, 2005, press release, November 21, 2005, legislation to redesign Lincoln penny passes Senate. Creates presidential $1 coin program similar to 50 state quarters program.